Shrapnel.
Wagwan everyone, and welcome to Film Shrapnel, your number one spot for everything movies. My name's Tobias, this is my co-anchor and partner in crime. Hello Craig.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm alright man, how you doing?
Good. Today is our first film for the Christmas season, though it does feel a bit like we're continuing crap movie month, to be honest, with this one.
I know, I was going to say to you, like, I thought we'd put that shit in the, behind us. And no, not quite. One more, and then we're done, I guess.
Yeah.
So, yeah, crap movie month is sort of spilled over into Christmas with today's film, Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. Can we redo this one, Craig? Can we do a different movie?
I knew you were going to hate it. When we were discussing what podcast to do first, you're like, let's just get this one out of the way. I was like, okay, that means Tobias, it means he hates it. To be fair, we did come across this movie looking at really crap films to do for the previous month, which is how it ended up in the Christmas one. So we knew it was going to be bad.
Yeah.
We knew it was going to be good.
But it's really quite unwatchable. Again, like I think I don't know. I think I hated Plan 9 more, but that's not to say that I like this film.
I will say that this film has a bit more charm, though. It's a bit more charming than Plan 9. Shall we tell our listeners what this is about, really briefly? I'll do it. I'll do it because I can sense the stress in your voice.
But but the thing is, if you don't know what this movie's about by just the title alone, then like, that. And actually, in all fairness, there's no real conquering going on, is there? It's Santa Claus.
Not really.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Santa conquers the Martians. He definitely has an exchange with them, but I wouldn't say he conquers them.
I'd say a proper title would be Santa Claus Delivers Christmas to the Martians or something like that, really.
Or Martians Christmas Special.
Yeah, something like that, along those lines.
A very Martian
So let me quickly get the plot out of the way. What is left of a plot?
What plot?
Let me just do it for the listeners. I know you don't like it, but the listeners need to know what this crap is about. So basically, there are Martians living on Mars, funny enough, and they watch TV, and they're obsessed with watching Earth stuff, and they're obsessed, like the kids are obsessed with Santa Claus. So the Martians decide to go to Earth to kidnap Santa Claus, and they also kidnap a couple of kids on the way, because why not? And they end up like, I guess the only way to say this is it's kind of like a Martian rebellion against the Martians that want Santa Claus and the Martians that don't, I guess. And then, yeah, Santa Claus wins. Everyone gets Christmas. And that's it, really. Unless I've forgotten anything important. I think that's pretty much the plot.
Yeah, done. You've said all we need to say about this movie. I'm done. Very short episode this week. We're very succinct today. Thank you.
Should we finish now?
Yeah, thanks for coming. Thanks for coming out, everyone. We are Film Shrapnel. Go check us out on Twitter at Film Shrapnel, capital S. Craig, do you want to say anything to the lovely listeners?
Sorry that we did this. It was a mistake.
Yeah. Terrible.
But unfortunately, we can't do that because we have standards. It does. I remember last month, shall we say, for November, you made a comment to me saying like, Craig, this has just felt like work doing this crap month thing, and this one also feels a bit like work. But you know what I did this time to get through this film? I said to myself early on, because I realized this is a very stupid film. Let's just suspend my what's the word I'm looking for? When he's my
Disbelief.
belief. Yes, that's it. I'm suspending my disbelief, and I'm just gonna let it go. Because if I stop at every single second, I'm never gonna get through this film because it's just too much. And you couldn't do that, could you?
No.
I imagine you were just like biting your fingers, like to the point where they were bleeding when you were watching this.
Yep. That's a big yes. That's a capital Y on that yes. Exclamation mark on the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hated this. So I suppose we should really get into talking about it because the longer I stall, the longer this
The
goes
more
on.
the more pain you cause yourself as well.
Right.
It's your
Okay.
time to vent.
Fine. There's a news report at the North Pole. That's the opening. The actor is being really weird. He's like laughing, but like shivering, but like sort of pausing as well, as if there was meant to be a laugh track or something. Fuck, I've no idea. Oh yeah, the music, the theme tune. Oh, how did I forget to talk about that? The theme tune's ridiculous. And, spoiler alert, when it says fast forward right to the end. So at the end of the movie, they play the theme tune again. And then, did you just turn the movie off when it ended, Craig?
Pretty much. I pretty much threw my laptop out the window when it ended.
Well, you know what? I stuck around in case there was an end credit scene. Right? Check this shit out. So they play the credits, they play the theme tune, and then after they finished with the credits, the song's still going. So they put the lyrics up for the song. And my note that I've written here, it's because I thought I was done with the movie. So I'm going to skip all of my notes. It's the last thing I wrote. So I realized that they put the lyrics up. So I put horrible theme tune, horrible movie, Merry fucking Christmas, 1 out of 10. Fuck you, Craig. this, this this movie seriously wants me to sing along. Fuck off. I'm done. I'm never watching a movie again. And that's the last thing I wrote in my notes.
But you say that, but you were curious enough to stay around to the very end of the credits to see if there was something extra.
No, okay, you're right. I did just stick around to the end. Anyway.
By the way, like, I don't know, where did you watch this, by the way? Did you watch it on YouTube or where?
I did watch this on YouTube, yes.
So I watched this on Wikipedia because apparently it was, I was just looking up the film. Okay, the whole thing is here. And where I usually watch films, which I won't say, didn't have anything for this film. So I thought, okay, I guess I'm watching it on Wikipedia. And one of the things, like, I thought the makeup of the Martians was really messed. Like, for a second, I thought,
Right.
are the kids doing blackface?
This is very close to blackface.
But I will say something though. I'm not sure if it's just the version that we ended up watching that was like that, because I've seen some pictures from Google Images, and they're more green color. But the version I saw was very dark, and it looks like one of the
Yeah.
first notes I wrote down was the Martians look a bit like Batman because of the cape and the underwear and everything, and even like the mask
Well,
kind of thing.
yeah, I'd written notes down about like the lighting and stuff. Like I felt like the whole film, despite having a very light tone, was very dark, and I wasn't sure if it was like the quality of the film or maybe just the quality of the video I watched. I watched it on YouTube, but yeah, if can you send me these pictures? Or let me look it up.
Yeah, because I was looking for images to use for the episode itself, and I was like, what? Why they look so bright and green? Why was the version I was watching so dark? So I think that it was supposed to be brighter. It makes more sense for them to be a green color. I think maybe it might have been the versions that we saw might have been, I don't know, the quality kind of declined or something. I'm not sure. Um, by the way, a little bit of
Oh
trivia for you
shit!
about this
Yeah,
film.
you're right.
You can see it,
And the
right?
images. the image is way nicer. Like I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a terrible quality, like all throughout, but it looks a lot more like a Doctor Who episode. What I'm looking at online than the film I watched. Oh, I'm
rather than
kind of annoyed.
blackface.
Yeah, I'm kind of annoyed that I had to sit through that. Then that at least I could have seen it in a bit more of like a Technicolor kind of. Well, that's really annoyed me.
Well, you're already annoyed, so it's okay.
Yeah, but
But
this movie didn't have to be as difficult to get through as it was, though. That's the annoying thing. Oi, look at the poster. Oi, no, Craig, I found the poster that you should use for the podcast. It's a poster, and it's Santa Claus, and it's his shirt's off, and he's like jacked, and he's beating up like he's beating up these like green slime creatures.
to be honest, isn't that the expectations you would have had for this film?
Well,
You
yeah,
expected some fighting, right?
I
Conquer implies that there is a fight and a war.
this is it. I would like to see them remake this film. Hollywood. Let me buy the rights to this movie. I'll give you $1, right? But trust me, I'll give you 10% profit of the movie I'll make with the rights to this movie. And so it's just going to be pure profit for you. You're going to get $1 for sure. And then the movie I make, I'd get Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he's Santa,
Obviously.
and like the government approach. Maybe no, I don't like that the humans can interact with Santa. Like I think you have like you can only I don't. It's like Wakanda, isn't it? Like it's hidden. It's more like it's like it's Wakanda from Black Panther logic. You can't really get to Santa's workshop unless you're like an elf or a reindeer, right? That's right? It's
Go
hidden,
on.
no? I don't
I'm
know.
hooked.
But
I'm hooked on your idea. Continue.
right, okay, so we get Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? Mrs. Claus has been dead for like 20 years, right? So he's a little bit sad, right? And he's a bit like he's not really interested. All kids are all into like devices nowadays, so he's all like, no, they don't want the wooden train set. They just wanted the Xbox, the Roblox. They don't want they don't want the house and toys. No more wooden rocking horses. No more. No
Is he
more.
also an alcoholic?
No more BMX. Yes. He's been drinking. He's on the sauce. He's on the sauce, or maybe he's on some kind. Yeah. Maybe he's like he partakes in the pixie dust, but he's mainly on the sauce, and the elves are really worried about him. The elves are like really concerned. They're like, well, he Christmas just ain't been the same since Mrs. Claus, And sorry, I'm doing the accent of the Martians though when I did the elves there. But no, we got to So the elves are like all upset because Arnie, I'm very sad, and then uh, then aliens decide they want to take over the world, and the government can't handle it like the Martians that would do it like Mars attacks level. Like they're just devastating all of the planet Earth. We can't defend ourselves, and like then we just cut back to like Arnold Schwarzenegger topless and like drunk, but like with like his Santa Claus like red suspenders and his trousers on, and he's just like slouched on his sofa, flicking through the channels, and he's just watching the news of the Martians like taking over. And he's like,
Hold
ugh.
on. And it has to be on Christmas Day.
Of course,
They're taking over on Christmas Day.
It's Christmas Eve, man. It's
Oh
Christmas
yeah.
Eve, obviously. And then because this is the thing, Santa's decided fuck Christmas this year. He said, fuck Christmas. I've had enough of Christmas. That's why the elves are so freaked out, because it's like, oh shit, like he's not going to do Christmas. So, and then Martians come because maybe like Santa's like, demeanor really, like, I don't know. I don't know why the Martians come. We'll figure that out. But then he's watching it on TV. He's like, the fuck this. And so he's like, he goes out for one last hurrah. And then he straps up, and we'll see him like strap up with like all of this like Christmas themed kind of like warfare gear. He'll have like a candy cane, but it like fires like rockets or something. A grenade launching candy cane. He'll have he'll just imagine, like, have you seen Commando?
I think I may have, but I can't remember.
Imagine Commando, but in Santa Claus suit, and that's that. And then he just goes out and he just fucking mows down all the Martians.
Yeah, it could just be like 90 minutes of pure violence.
Yeah.
And at the end, his faith in humanity is restored. So he starts giving presents again.
Yeah. This is the thing. No. His not his faith in humanity. Humanity's faith in him, in the wholesome nature of Christmas, and then it invigorates him. And he's like, okay, I'll bring Christmas back. We'll do this. We'll do it. We'll do it again. I'll bring it back. Christmas will be here. It's going nowhere. And yeah, then they say
I think
Christmas.
You've improved this film a lot.
Yeah, and also you have the Martians as like green slime creatures, and then you just see Santa like literally just fucking like he punches them, they just explode on impact, and he just fucking like just fucking mowing through all of these little monsters. Arnold Schwarzenegger is Santa Claus. Santa Claus conquers the Martians.
That fits the title a lot better as well. But something that's on my mind that I kept thinking about when watching the real film that sadly exists, not your one, unfortunately. I think this could.
Can we
Go
just
on.
not? Can we just talk about my film instead? I
Um,
know we watched this film, and I know we've got notes about this film, but fuck this film. It was so bad.
I know, but feel enlightened. You know what the bottom level is. But I think this film could have probably worked if they got the tone right. But they fucked the tone so much in this film. They really messed it up because, like, I think it's supposed to be a kids' film, right? It's a kids' film to watch around Christmas. They're trying to marry to. I have Plan 9 vibes when watching this. I mean, you got bad sets, bad acting, badly written. The aliens looks like humans again. War between like both of them. We have fucking military stock footage again, and the aliens are incompetent. It's just it's just like Plan 9. We've got two. We've got a filmmaker who's decided to combine these two genres, like fucking see what we can. We've got this emerging sci-fi genre obsessed with aliens. How can we merge this with Christmas somehow? And they did, and they fucked it. And like the thing about this film is that it should the Santa stuff, the Christmas stuff should come before the alien stuff, because you're watching a Christmas film around Christmas. You want it to be Christmassy, right? At least that's what most people's expectations are going to be. But like all the stuff with the Martians just seems so just too serious, and like, but this is supposed to be a fun thing, right? And who cares about all this Martian politics and shit? Like, it didn't have to go into that. Like, you could have just cut all that shit and just focused on Santa and the Martians themselves. I don't know. I think if they worked on the tone better and made it fun, it might have actually not have been so terrible. But just such a strange shift in tone between this really serious Martian shit and Christmas shit. It just didn't. It was very tough to watch. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that was the main problem here?
It's shit.
That's it.
That's it. That's my opinion. I don't know, man. I mean, look to try and pinpoint what the problem is with this movie, because like when we meet Santa for the first time, here's an example of awfulness. He's painting a toy with a dry paintbrush.
I didn't notice that.
Oh, I saw it straight away. I'm like, oh, it's so fucking dumb. Okay, and you know what? I thought maybe in the because now that I know that there's like a better version, like a better copy, a better visual copy of this, it must be way more pronounced in that than it was in the version I saw as well. Must be way more noticeable.
I was just thinking about all the crap things there are, and I think because most of my notes are literally just listing off shit things about the film.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like another thing that happens early on in the film when we first meet the Martians, which I'm not sure is before or after we meet Santa. I can't remember. The Martian parents are complaining that their kids aren't eating because they're just watching TV all the time because they're obsessed with Santa Claus. And they're like, the kids have hardly eaten. And then like, they're fucking feeding the kids pills. Like, of course,
yeah.
of course they're fucking starving. What the fuck?
Creepy.
And then I got some more shit for you. Since probably we're not going to talk about the film directly. It's more fun to talk about the shit because we can't talk about much good. Although there is one bit that I found quite funny, but I'll get to that in a bit. There was a lot of stupidity about this in the spaceship, this radar box. Do you remember this? This was just really annoying for me.
Well, the fact that you can just open it up like it's a chest and just get inside.
Yeah, and why is it?
There seems to be no circuitry or wires in there, just an empty space that you can just jam inside.
Yeah, basically. They just needed a place for people to hide. And why would there's no need for it to be a box. You don't need all that space in there. It just didn't make any sense. It was so very stupid.
It's so dumb, so dumb, so dumb. Oh, I really don't.
And then we had the world's shittest polar bear as well.
No, I actually like the polar bear.
Oh, really?
Like a man in a suit, polar bear suit. I kind of like that. Made me smile. So I would actually give it points for the polar bear. That fell in the bracket of so bad it was good.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. It wasn't as bad as Plan 9. I actually have like one or two things I liked about this film. That polar bear's one of them.
What's the other thing you liked?
I can't remember. I have to like jog my memory as we move through my notes.
I can tell you what, I have my one here. I found it. There's my favorite line. This really made me laugh. So Santa Claus is talking about how, after he saved Mars, he can go back to Earth and deliver Christmas. And the alien is like, Santa Claus, you'll never return to Earth. Yeah. You belong to Mars. And then Santa Claus is like, ho, ho, ho. Like, it's really sad.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
I quite like that. Yeah, I did not have a good time with this movie overall, despite that polar bear.
Do you think there's a possibility that this might be one of those situations where they sandwich two films together, two ideas?
No.
No. You think it was supposed to be like this?
I don't know. I don't care. I don't care. I don't think so. I definitely don't think so. I don't think this movie had... No. I just think... I don't even want to accept that this film exists.
But it needs to exist to make the good stuff good.
No.
Right?
No. It makes stuff worse.
Maybe.
I feel like if this sort of stuff can exist, then, it actually weakens the art that we have. It's very... It doesn't say a lot for us as a species, that's for sure.
You know what? There's some other shit I wanted to talk about race and stuff that I got from this film that I found a bit weird.
Oh my God,
Um,
Craig, you're definitely overthinking it. But go on, I'm interested.
there's like always something Martian and something kind of derogative, and I felt like, why is that even that's only a thing because we have racism, and I thought that's
Oh,
really like kind of fucked up in a kind of
yeah.
way that
ac-
you'd only get that because of that, you know?
Actually, you're right. There is a bit, and you've just jogged my memory. Uh, there's a bit. It's one of my favorite lines where, like, I think the kid is getting angry at the Martian, and he's just like, "Oh, you Martian," and the way he says Martian is like, you can tell there's prejudice in that. You can tell, like, he's like, you dirty little Martian. I'm sure you can see this kid just fucking hates Martians.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of fucked up because that only exists because there's racism in the world and people talk
Yeah,
like this about other races, you know?
yeah,
And like, yeah, I think that made me feel a bit, yeah, that's not great.
yeah.
That was kind of shit.
Interesting. Interesting that you can derive something profound out of this.
Do you know what? There is one good thing I can say about this film. Would you like to know? A
Oh my God,
groundbreaking thing.
go on.
This is the first film to ever show Mrs. Claus. Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah.
Well, they make her
Before.
annoying. They make her annoying as fuck. So I don't know how progressive that really is. They make her
Well,
moan and whinge, and they actively make her irritating. They're trying to make her like annoying. Like when they freeze her in time, that's meant to be like cause for celebration for the audience because she's like been an annoying character.
speaking of being frozen in time, it's the same. That's the same thing that happened in Troll 2. Remember when they were frozen around the dinner
Yeah,
table?
you're
And like,
right.
here we have it again, as if it's like some kind of amazing effect, but it's literally just people standing still. Like,
Well, yeah,
this is
it seems like it's like it's a trope in these films, it seems, because it's a very very cheap effect to do. You can do it, the expensive route, and it will look really good, but there is a cheap alternative that, and if you do it, like, if the actors are committed enough, then it can look amazing, but the likelihood is, you know it's not going to look real.
no.
It's going to look like an episode of Goosebumps or Doctor Who from the back in the old days.
The fact that you even called it an effect is a bit of an overstatement, I think.
Well,
It's
it's a
just people staying
you,
still.
you'd say it's a practical effect, no?
If you want
It's
to say that.
it's achieved through, you know, physical management of the space and camera. I would say that's a practical effect. You know,
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that, but it still feels like a strong word to use. In
okay,
my head,
fair,
it's just people staying still. Like, it just feels so grand to call it an effect.
ma'am.
Uh,
It's okay. It's mime then.
yeah, it's basically mine. It's part of acting. It's
I,
just
I
acting.
I've got to bring up, they introduce a character at the beginning and he never becomes relevant again. I've written him in my notes. His name's like Cho Chen. He's some old man with a long stick and he appears in a puff of smoke. And he explains to the Martians what Christmas is and why getting Santa would be a benefit to Mars. Right?
Hmm.
Uh, he never pops up again. And I don't really see the point in this character at all. But I felt like he was like meant to be a sort of Asian like, because I don't think it was an Asian actor, but I think they're trying to pull him off as like an Asian character.
I didn't really get that vibe from it.
Especially if you called him Cho Chen. I mean, like, that just sounds like an out of touch white guy trying to write like an ancient Asian character.
Yeah,
Just sort of piggybacking on the race thing you were talking about. I do think there's a
yeah.
bit of racial stuff in here. You're right. Now that I think about it, you're right.
It's not always. I don't think it's supposed to be intentional. I think it just shows. the times and how people didn't think about this shit, and it just
Well,
ended up accidentally in the
quite
work. It
right.
makes people feel uncomfortable.
Quite right. Yeah, quite right. I don't. I'm just. I'm not even spending much time going through my notes. I don't really. I'm skimming my notes. I don't even want to
To
use
be
them all.
I'll be honest, really, this is some of my lightest notes that I've written in ages, because I just straight away I was like, this is not going to be good. This is going. I need to just relax when I watch this, otherwise, I'm going to have too much. So I just
But
like,
yeah, the thing is, these are the most extensive notes I've done because this is the first time I've written notes on my laptop instead of handwritten, and so I had more time to write, and I had more. I've noticed more things that annoyed me, so I actually have the most extensive notes I've ever had. I've got typos everywhere. It's like a sea of red underneath jargled letters that I have to now like translate and hope that some of them make sense. I
you know,
th- One okay. Here's a thing I liked. I've got it here in my notes. A thing I liked when they come to Earth, they take one look at it and they go how primitive their cities are above the ground, and I actually quite like that. The To have civilization above ground would be considered uh a primitive society.
that's interesting. I remember that as well. It's like kind of almost like from an environmental perspective, you can think about it, because like if everything was underground, the world would be greener and yeah, better for the environment.
Mm.
Because cities are just dirty and take up space.
Yeah. What did you think of the dumb alien, the dumb friendly
Uh,
one?
Drupo, who becomes Santa at the end, a Martian
Drew
Santa.
Drupo. You know what? The only names so I've got a note here. All the I thought all the aliens, all their names ended in the in dar. Like there was Boldar and Vendar and Nodar or whatever the fuck. Just everyone was like Dar. And then there was just a scene later on, and someone come, like one of the Martians come in, and they're like, "Hi, Tim," and it just made me laugh. And that I thought was quite funny. But if you're, I hadn't, I guess I'd missed that the dumb alien. I've just written that his name was Dumb Alien. Actually, I haven't written that. I've written. So my note about Dumb Alien is that he's like the Baldric of Mars. If you've seen Blackadder, he's
Yeah, yeah.
he's just Baldric. So then the rest of my notes following that, I've just referred to him as Baldric.
You know what? He's actually a bit of a contradiction to something that happens early on in the film, because uh, they talk about. I think it's that the guy
Are
who
you,
you think is like an Asian stereotype or something. They're
are,
saying how about
are you surprised that this film contradicts itself at any point?
no, not at all.
Mm-mm.
But like they talk about how like the Martian kids don't get to have fun, and they're just basically born as grown-ups and adults, which kind of doesn't really make sense anyway, because they're still obsessed with kid stuff. But then you have Drupo, who is just like a buffoon, and like he's quite childlike, and he's kind of uh,
Yeah, his very existence is like sort of breaks the foundation of this whole sort of exposition we get of Martian society.
yeah. And by the way, I just remembered that guy, the elder guy who's supposed to be like 800 years. What is going on with his voice? It's just really great. That like, of all
Oh,
the things that really annoyed me in this film, that really, it's like, oh, why
can
are
you
you acting like that? Who
can
let
you
you do that?
can you demo it? Because I've forgotten.
It's kind of talking like this or something, like struggling to live. Something like that. Do you remember? It was something really terrible.
Not,
And
when
like,
you do it, it doesn't jog anything in my memory. No,
no,
no.
it was such terrible, such a really weird.
Maybe I've blocked it out.
Maybe
I,
you
wa-
had a stroke and you forgot about that bit and
I,
you just moved
I
past it.
I literally watched it this morning, and I don't remember this voice.
I envy you.
Mm-mm-mm.
Anyhow, how far are we? We're about 40 minutes in, I think, because we have about 10 minutes of audio on the other bit because we
Quite,
had a little bit of technical stuff.
quite right.
Uh, shall we start wrapping this one up before we end up talking for like an hour about a film we hate?
All right. Well, okay. So, like, I'll just like skim my notes.
Can you understand the redness? The
Some of it. Oh, okay. Here's one. So when they're about to kidnap the children, they said something made me laugh. He goes, "We're from Mars. Don't be afraid. We have lots of children on Mars." I just started laughing. Oh, like, okay, that was some serious Stranger Danger shit. If I were, them kids better.
yeah. Adding on to that, there's one bit where I think they're on the Martian spaceship and they're with Santa Claus, and either the girl or the boy says, "Mommy and Daddy are going to be angry" or something like this, and yeah, they should be angry because they left their kids to sleep outside in the cold in December and they got fucking kidnapped. Like, they should be angry at them fucking selves. Why did they let their kids just be out there in the middle of
Well,
nowhere to get
I
taken
I
away?
I understand letting your kids play in the snow at Christmas, but how old are these kids? And like they're quite young, and to be unsupervised on Christmas Eve, where we know Martians are coming, or do we know that Earth doesn't know that the Martians are coming? Do they?
No, there's a few broadcasts at points, isn't there? We've got a few moments where the TV is talking about Martians, if I'm correct.
Oh, I'll tell you one thing. These TV reports, I'm starting to notice that is also a very common trope that is that's popping up in these bad movies, like news reports, like direct address to the audience.
Yeah, it's
It
spoon
seems to,
feeding information.
yeah, it seems to be in absolutely all of them. So yeah, oh yeah, the Baldric then befriends the kids, and then we get the polar bear scene, all that, blah 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 blah, and then I guess Earth declares war after all that. We've basically covered everything up until then.
Yeah, and we get a lot of stock footage, just like Plan 9, which is
Yeah,
really not good.
and then the kids and Santa, so they capture Santa because they freeze Mrs. Claus. They capture Santa, and then on the ship, Santa and the kids, this guy, what I think his name Boldar, but he's this alien with the massive moustache. It's like he must have refused to shave. The actor must have refused to shave to do this movie, and he's clearly a bad guy. And then he goes, he's like, "Oh, I'll take you for a tour of the spaceship," and then he takes them into an airlock to kill them. Um, and the line that said, like, he's like, the little kid just starts talking about it being an airlock for a good minute. He's like, "This is an airlock. When you're in an airlock, this happens and this happens. And then you can go outside into the space, but you have to put your spacesuit on." And he's just like, you know, okay, all right, whatever. And then they go, "How do you know so much about airlocks?" And he goes, "So he wants to be a spaceman when he grows up." And then and then the Martian goes, "Well, he may be sooner than that." And then he locks them in to try and kill them. But then Santa uses his chimney powers. I like that he had chimney powers, but they don't explain it as chimney powers. They just let it be a thing that happened. And it's like, oh, at least they don't spoon feed you that. They spoon feed you fucking everything else. But like, they don't explicitly say chimney powers. But he uses his chimney powers to get them out through an air duct. Now, Craig, maybe we end up cutting this point, but would there be an air duct in an air lock
That's a very good point.
that can come out to like the normal part of the ship? I don't know if that's possible. I mean, I'm
I
pretty
don't think
sure it
that's
ain't.
possible at all.
But I don't know nothing about. I don't know nothing about like the physics of like the vacuum of space. But I
I
would.
think I think that space that they were in would have to be completely sealed off from the entire
Yeah.
ship.
Right. Exactly. That's what I was thinking. So yeah, your chimney powers would have helped to a point, but it wouldn't have gotten you out of there. But all right, fine.
So what you're saying
Um,
is Santa and two kids should be dead right now,
yeah, I would have liked
floating
the movie.
around
I
in the
would have liked,
cold vastness of space.
yeah, like an alien, like the end of Alien. Give them a death like that, and I'd like the movie more if they'd done it.
Yeah.
Um,
Aye, aye. Do you know what
and
IMDb score this got, by the way?
okay, let's try and guess.
I
So,
already know it, so you have to guess. I can't guess for you.
well, if Plan 9 from Outer Space was like what 3.9, and then the others were like a 2 something, then yeah, I'll give this like 3.5. I'm not giving it that, but 3.5.
That's what you're guessing it is, right?
Oh, 3. Oh, 3.
I'll tell you this though, before I tell you the number, this film is frequently ranked within the top 100 worst films ever made. So you want to up it or you want to lower it?
1.7.
Ooh, you really upped it there. Should I tell you what it is?
1.8.
It's 2.7. So it wasn't as that bad, but it is pretty bad. It's pretty dire.
0.1.
That's probably what it deserves, but not what it got.
Just you wait till we get to our review, and that will be what it gets.
But I have a question now, though, since we're getting kind of close. We're about 50 something minutes in, I think.
Yeah.
Uh, my tummy is rumbling. Uh, is this film so bad that it's good, or is it just bad?
I'll refer to you to the last note I wrote that I mentioned to you earlier. Horrible theme tune, horrible movie, Merry fucking Christmas. 1 out of 10. Fuck you, Craig.
I think that's good. Yeah.
That's my review. That's my
I I
review.
I don't think this is so bad that it's good. I think it's just mostly bad. I got a couple of
Uh,
chuckles, but I think the best film that is like so bad it's good is The Room because it's so alien that it's really funny.
yeah.
But there are some films that are just so bad that you don't laugh.
No,
And like,
this is so bad that it's just bad.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just bad.
I feel sorry for this film. Like yeah, like just things like you know you've got like you've got the guy who's like dressed as Santa in the fucking cave. No one knows he's down there, but then we find out later that they can communicate telepathically over long distances. So you're like, well, how that stupid, stupid.
Too much
Ah,
logic.
it's so dumb. Like I swear, at one point, one of the controls was screwing in a light bulb.
Yeah, there was some thing inside the cave where you could just turn the light bulbs and it made like a kind of like a shield or something to protect people inside or whatever. And then one character, I don't care enough to remember, swaps the two light bulbs. Maybe it's Drupo does it, and apparently that changes the shield or something. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck off.
I think they could really remake it, like how you suggested. Like Arnold
Yeah,
Schwarzenegger would be fantastic. It could be
yeah,
an action thing. It's
yeah,
just it's just very misleading because you think
yeah.
Conquers. Now I'm thinking, is there going to be really a fight here? Is
Mm.
Santa going to be badass? And he's not.
Well, because this is the
And
thing that the end of the movie needs to be Santa leading an army of elves battling an army of Martians, Lord of the Rings style. That needs to be that needs to be the climax the movie builds towards. It needs to be like this
I,
epic fucking movie.
I can already see it in my head with like Lord of the Rings battle music.
Yeah, yeah. Let's commission this. We'll do this with our film shrapnel money because we're rolling in it, guys.
Yeah, we're really rolling in it.
We've
uh,
we've actually what's gone on is we've just wasted a year of our lives.
Yeah. Well, it was good, and then we started watching these bad films, and now I feel a bit sick.
Yeah,
But
it's getting sour. We're ending on a very sour note with these movies.
we
Well, look,
are.
Craig, I give it a 1 out of 10. What are you going to give it?
Well, I can't beat that, to be honest. I'm sticking with you. Yeah, 1 out of 10. I mean, I, what did it have to do to get a 2? I
I
don't
mean,
even know.
I was hoping you'd give it like a 1.5 because, like, I feel like
I
maybe
don't
there is
care
like,
enough to give it half a point.
yeah, because well, the thing is, I do feel that there's one or two little things. I feel like if I'm going to be total truth, I'm going to go like 1.2. Like
Okay.
I can be that accurate because I can equate how much of the movie I was like, oh, I quite like that. That's sweet. But besides that, no.
Not sure about sweetness. I was really looking for a laugh when I was watching this, and I left mostly disappointed.
No, but yeah, but I thought the polar bear was sweet. I was like, oh, bless them. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not even bothered to give this like one of our film shrapnel funny ratings either. Like,
No.
yeah, it's shit. Don't watch this movie, guys.
We watched it for you. We did you a service. We've told you how bad it is. Now stay away. It's your warning. It's a fair warning.
Yeah, fair warning. Don't watch this movie. And on that bombshell, we are Film Shrapnel. Thanks for coming out and listening to us. Go check us out on the app formerly known as Twitter, because then you'll be able to keep up to date with all the stuff that's coming out soon and that's already been. And that you'll find us at Film Shrapnel, capital F, capital S. Craig, how are you? What do you want to say to the people out there?
Not much really. You can also find us on Instagram. We started out there. We're still
Oh
like
yes,
just getting started there. Film Shrapnel, one word, lowercase, I think. We have TikTok as well, but we haven't touched that in a long time. So you can
no.
flick through our TikTok stuff if you want. It's mostly Tobias being a buffoon.
Mm.
And yeah, that's it for now. But yeah,
And
keep
and you
watching.
and YouTube's coming.
YouTube is coming. Yeah.
Well, on that bombshell, Merry fucking Christmas.
Merry Christmas, bitches. Watch films.
Bye.
Have fun. Bye.